Hello, this is Ankit Reddy. Welcome to the .NET course from educators.com, world's best online training tutorial for the leading technologies. In this video, we'll discuss on SQL Server. What is this SQL Server? People call this SQL as SQL. It's pronounced as SQL. SQL. Pronounced as SQL. So SQL is pronounced as SQL. And what is this stands for? SQL. Structured Query Language. Why do we use this SQL? In order to communicate with the database, we'll be using this as a communicator. People will be getting confused with words SQL and SQL Server. So do not get confused with these both words because SQL is a language, SQL Server is a database. SQL is a language and SQL Server is a database. So SQL statements are used to perform tasks such as create database tables, processes, and update data on database, retrieve data from a database. So in simple terms, SQL is a language used for accessing and manipulating database. So SQL stands for Structured Query Language. What it can do is, SQL can execute queries against database. It can retrieve, insert, update, delete a table or records. It can create a new database, a new table, new stored procedures, etc. So we can set permissions also on tables, procedure, and whatever it is we are using this. Most of the actions we need to perform on a database are done with SQL statements. So don't get confused with SQL and SQL Server terms. SQL is a language, SQL Server is a database. And some of the examples for database is Oracle, Sybase. Let me write that. Oracle, Sybase, SQL Server, MS Access. These are the examples for databases. Although most database systems use SQL, most of them also have their own additional proprietary extensions that are usually only used on their databases. Most of the things are common. However, the standard SQL command such as select, insert, update, delete, create and drop. The most common are select, insert, update, delete and drop. So these are mostly used standard commands in all the languages, whatever it is, either all the languages, not all the databases. Oracle, Sybase, SQL Server, MS Access. So let us see that data types that contain in a SQL Server, SQL Introduction, then SQL data types. These are the data types and range for this. Like how we have seen in our C#.NET, integer, string, float, double, they will be having some ranges. A big int will be this much big number and integer is compared to this big int is small, and then small int compared to this integer comparatively it is less, and tiny int is 0 to 255. So int category we can see these four types of data types: tiny int, small int, int and big int. And bit is storing that zeros and ones. Usually we'll be having 0 means inactive, 1 means active, decimal, numeric and money, and some are float data type, real data type, date time, varchar, binary, timestamps. And timestamps is like stores a database wide unique number that gets updated every time a row gets updated. So we'll be having this timestamp at the database end. Whenever a new row is added, that current time will be taken into that account. Okay. Now let us see types of commands which are available in our SQL Server: DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and we have DQL as well. Let Let us see that DDL, DML, DCL, TCL and DQL. Based on the commands and their usage, which are broadly categorized into these 5 types. DDL is transfer, data definition language. DML stands for data manipulation language. DCL stands for data control language. TCL stands for transaction control language. Finally, what is DQL? Data query language. Then let me tell you what are the queries will come under each one. We'll be writing queries in SQL Server. Then we'll finish this session. If time permits, we'll consider all these things. Otherwise, we'll split into the second part. Now, here the sample command, commands which come under DDL are create, alter, drop, then truncate. These 4 will come under DDL, data definition language. Then what is the DML? Insert, update, then delete. These 3 will come under this category. Then what are will come under DCL are called grant and revoke. Then let us see what is will come under transaction control language. Save point, rollback and commit. Finally, what is this? Data query language. The name itself is there, something it is querying. Querying means something asking. So it will come under this select. Out of which we'll be having create, alter, drop, truncate for this data definition language, insert, update, delete for this data manipulation language, grant and revoke for data control language, save point, rollback, commit is for transaction control language. I hope everybody install SQL Server in your machines. Then whatever irrespective of the versions you have, SQL Server 2005, 2008, 2010, 2014, whatever it is, irrespective of the versions, after you open, you'll be seeing like this SQL Server Management Studio. I have SQL Server Management Studio installed 2008 version. Okay, whatever you have, you open SQL Server from start menu programs, you'll be seeing like this. So after opening this, the first and foremost important thing is we need to create, or we wanted to communicate with tables. So a table is a collection of, a database. Let me tell that. Database is the first thing. Database is a collection of tables. Table is a collection of rows and columns. And in order to communicate with the tables, one should have created a database. How to create a database? Not only a created database, an SQL Server database can be created or altered or dropped, whatever it is. To communicate with the database, we have 2 options. One is by using the graphical interface of GUI, graphical user interface of SSMS, which stands for SQL Server Management Studio. SQL Server Management Studio. This is what you can see here, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. The other option is writing queries manually. either we can take help from the graphical user interface of SQL Server Management Studio, or we can write queries manually. There are two options to communicate with the database. I'll show you both. Then I recommend you always to go with writing queries manually. That's because whenever you're facing an interviewer will be asking you to write down queries on a paper. He won't provide you a computer to write down queries. So please be remember that we'll be getting interview questions and we'll be asking like write down commands on a paper, not on a system. Because if you go through this one, there are very less chances that to learn how to write a query. That's what I always prefer to go with writing queries manually. Once you are confident that you can write queries manually, then you can go ahead to use this graphical user interface to save time. Understand? So please be remember that always prefer writing queries manually. Anyhow, I will be showing both the things. Let's flip to the Visual Studio, SQL Server Management Studio. In order to create a database graphically, right click on it, choose this new database. It will get loaded. Yeah, database name we can give. Whatever database name you want to give, you can give it. Educators. So you can click on OK. That's enough. The database will get created. You wanted to see the database. For safer side, you please refresh one time, or else right click on it and you can go ahead refresh. Then expand the database folder to see that the database is created or not. Let it expand. So like sometimes depends on your database you have created. I have so many database created like that. So we have created educators. Now you can see it has been created. Just expand this. Now you can see so many folders are get created. So only took time when we are creating that database. This is how we can create a database by using graphical user interface. And if you wanted to create database manually, create database using a query, click on new query, then create database name, whatever database you want. You can give other name, don't give the same name. Educate. This itself enough to create a database. Create is a keyword, database is a keyword, so we can see in a blue color. In a SQL query window, the keywords will be seen in a blue color. Select that, click on execute. Query executed successfully. Commands completed successfully. Just you go ahead and refresh one time this database. Then expand the database folder. You can see that database is created with the name educate. Let it get expand. You can see here. So however you create with graphical user interface help or writing manually, both are same. You can see same folders are get created. How to alter a database name once it is created? Suppose I wanted to change this name of the database. Go to this place, rename. That's it. Just put enter. It will get renamed. It is not responding. Let's wait. It will get change that name to other name. This is how right clicking on the file name, database name, then you give choose that rename option, then you can give the new name. Unable to rename it because rename failed. Was database could not be actually logged to perform the operation. An exception occurred while executing a transit is general batch. 1 second. We'll be getting like this kind of errors. Don't worry. How to solve that? We'll see. Then again, I'm doing the same thing. See, it will come. Just choose. I gave this RE only this time. Let us see whether it get changed or not. It is getting changed. Usually it will get changed until unless you are open that database. Let me close this as well and let me refresh, rename. See this, it got changed. So sometimes it won't get renamed or sometimes it won't affect the changes because it is being used somewhere. So please make sure that it's not used. Once it is used, you cannot change, right? Even though not only this database name, if you're having any files or WordPad or Notepad something, when you are using it, you cannot rename that. So you should close that, then only you can rename it. Okay. Now let us see that how to alter that database by writing a query manually. Alter database. To alter a database once it is created by writing a manual query, and then whatever you wanted to change. I wanted to change this name again, educators. Make sure that it is not selected here. It is selected, so you cannot change that. I will show you that by an error message. Educators. Just now I am telling, right, when you are changing something, please make sure that it is closed or it is not being used. Then modify name is equals to new database name. Whatever new database name you want to give it. Let me change it back to educators. See, if we are using that, let us see whether we will get or not. And we are compile time error also we are getting. Let us see that when we execute, it went off. Sorry, where else I clicked on it. Let me change it. I clicked on here. Please be aware that where you are clicking. The database name educator has been set. See here. Once you refresh, it will go again back to the old name called educators. It's not happen. Select this, refresh it. Then let us expand. It's too much time. Just depending on the size you are using. Yeah, it came. Educators. It has been renamed. So not only that, the database which is created by graphical user interface we can rename. We can rename the one which have created manually. Same way you can use this. Educate is there, right? Educate. Then name you wanted to give whatever name you want. Educator students. Change that. Database name has been set. Just refresh that and we can expand that. We can see that a new name is set for this old name. What we are doing here, we are just altering that database names. See here, we can see educator students has been set. How to drop a database? Drop in the sense delete. How to drop? From graphical user interface, if you wanted to drop, you just right click on it and delete it. Make sure that again it is not being used. Delete button, click OK. Just get executing. Then it will get delete if it is not being used. Taking time because it has to delete all the subfolders under this educators folder. Important thing is make sure that you are not using that what are the database or tables. Just read this error message. Cannot drop because educator because it is currently used. I'm telling you, right? Please make sure that it is not used. Now it will get delete. Executing. See, immediately it got deleted. The same way, how do we delete? By using writing a manual query. So drop or delete both are same synonyms, but we have different in executing that command. We have two commands again, drop and delete. If you can see here, somewhere I wrote, yeah, delete is a separate command, drop is a separate command. Meaning is same. we are deleting that. I'll show you the differences in the coming classes, the coming sessions. What are the differences between drop and delete, and differences between truncate and delete, and truncate and drop. This is very important interview question as well. Definitely I will discuss differences among these three in the coming sessions. As of now, to drop, I mean to delete a database, how do we delete? Drop database, then a database name, that what we are going to delete. Educators, students. This is what I am going to delete. Educator, students. Execute it. Command completed successfully. Once you refresh this, you cannot see this one here. Refreshing this. After refreshing, will just expand. Nowhere you can see educators. Understand? So this is how we'll be using graphical user interface to create a database, and how to write queries manually to create a database. So let me quickly add one more database now. By now on, we'll be using this same database for all the remaining examples of the queries. Educators. Become OK. By now we have understand that what is a create and what is alter, what is a drop. Let me create a table. Again, creating a tables also we can take help from graphical user interface, and we can write queries manually. Initial stage, please write queries manually, then you will be understanding the queries, how to write, and you can learn how to write queries. Once you have confidence, you can go through with graphical user interface help. Educators is there. Just expand it. To create a table, I am telling you the first thing is how to create table by using this graphical user interface. Like how we have created a database. In a similar way, right click on the database, choose a new table. We'll be getting a window. There we need to supply column name, data type, and whether you wanted to allow nulls or don't allow nulls. Let me take column name as ID. IDs are integer, don't allow nulls, otherwise let it allow nulls. Then emp name is a string. We'll be taking varchar as then location also. It may contain digits and numbers, so variable character it means, varchar means. Now if you wanted to save this, you can right click and click on save button. Otherwise if you close also, it will be asking. Then if you choose yes, it will be asking you to choose that table name. Usually you will be following some conventions for creating a table names, like TBL and employee name or employee details. Some guys will follow after TBL one underscore. That's up to you whether you wanted to give underscore or not. I'm not going to give underscore. Again, your wish. If you want to give, you can give here underscore. By this, I have created a table. Just expand it. You can see that TBL employee details. And how to create a table by using writing queries manually. Create table name, TBL employee. Then ID integer, fname as var character. Then choose a size whatever you want. Lname, then varchar. It's up to you how much size you can expect for this first name and last name characters. Then salary, integer I'm taking. That's it. So same way we have given how in the graphical user interface. I'm going to create the table by using writing manual queries. ID is a column name. This is a data type like fname, lname, salary. Just select that particular query you wanted to execute. Click on execute. Commands got executed successfully. Once you refresh this, you can see the two tables now. But here, not seeing that. Why? Because when you are creating a table, make sure that the table we are going to create under which database. Here you can see this. This is another database. So please make sure that you have selected these educators, then only you can create that. So I have not selected, so it was created in other table, other database. We don't want that. Now educators is selected. Now let us go and create. You can hit F5 key from your keyboard. If I press F5 key from keyboard, you cannot see. So only I'm using that options which are available on the screen. Commands completed successfully. Now if refresh, you can see this both the tables. Understand? After a table is created, if you wanted to alter that column names, you can add column names as well. How to alter table statements? I wanted to I wanted to add a column in a table. That too, after creating a table, I realized that if one more column is there, my table will be good. So that alter. Remember that this SQL server is not a case sensitive. Either you can use alter or alter as this one, or combination of small letter uppercase letters. Lowercase letter or uppercase letters both are same, but usually all developers will be following this as capital case letters. In HTML we will be using all small case letters like this. There also it will be not a mandatory that you need to use small case letters. Here also not a mandatory to use capital case letters, but we'll be following the same, like people will be using small case letters with HTML, capital case letters with SQL Server. It's up to you. You can use both the things. It is both are legal. Alter table, then table name, then add a column. Suppose I wanted to add a column for this. Then alter table, add skills. Then back here of 50. Now execute it. It is been added. Now how we wanted to see that? Just refresh this. Then you can expand these tables again. Columns you can see. Skills has been added. Until here we have created only 4 columns. Now we have added skills column as well. How to drop that column name? Suppose after you added this, you don't want to use it again. Your team lead told that, or your project manager told that it is not required again. So please drop that column. How do you do that? Same way, copy this, alter table name, drop. You need to use here and to mention column. What we are going to drop? We are going to drop column and column name. See here we are having skills, and I am going to delete the skills column with using alter. Now if you refresh, skills will not be there. This is how we can see this writing queries by using graphical user interface and by using manually writing queries. The preferred method while learning at the beginning stage, please write your queries manually. Then only you can remember these things. Okay, how to insert some data to the table that we have created? Let us see that. How do we insert data to the table by using graphical user interface? Right click on the table, choose that. Let me close all the things. I don't want to save this. Close. Then close. Right click on the table. How to insert values by using graphical user interface? I'm telling. Click on edit top 200 rows. Now you can give IDs, name, Tom, location as yes, and then with using tab key you can always enter your values. Sam. Okay, that's it. The data has been added. Just close this, and you can see that again edit top 200 rows has been added. In the same way, how to insert some values into the tables by using manual queries. Insert into the table name, whatever you want. I wanted to insert some values to the employees table. Then what are the columns are there? You just expand that, you can see that id, f name, comma l name, comma salary. Then we need to use another keyword called values. Then we need to supply values accordingly. What under values what under the columns we have mentioned here, and we know that id is of type integer. For integer type or number type, we no need to provide anything, directly we can add values. For the varchar type, we need to supply in a single quote f name Stuart, and then last name Williams. Then salary, you can give $500 or 500 pounds, whatever it is. Select that, click on insert. One row got selected. Now here we have seen that to see the output, what are the values are in the particular table, we can click this edit top 200 rows. Like, how do we see? By using manual queries, the one which is called select query. Select star from the table name, copy, paste it, and then execute. Now you can see the output like this, whatever you have inserted. So these are the options we can choose. How to create tables from the graphical user interface and how to insert from the graphical user interface. We have seen both the things for creating and inserting and selecting. So by this we have covered here create, alter, drop and select query and insert query you have seen. In the coming sessions we will be discussing the remaining commands. Thank you for watching.